The Dusi 2014 is proudly brought to you by the KZN Department of Sport and Recreation, Isotonic Game, and Hansa.
The Dusi Canoe Marathon is regarded as one of the toughest of the endurance events in South Africa. We know the South Africans love the challenge of it. It is hard. The heat and the humidity, the running and the rapids will take them all through the mill over the next 3 days. It's a journey that takes them from Kampsdrift in Pietermaritzburg to Blue Lagoon in Durban over 3 days. A journey that took the pioneer of the Dusi, Dr. Ian Player, 6 days back in 1951.
Now comfortably in its new home in February, billed as the ultimate canoe challenge, one of the world's greatest canoe marathons, the Dusi Canoe Marathon, ready for the start of day one and the slog from Kampsdrift in Pietermaritzburg all the way to Dusi Bridge deep in the Valley of 1,000 Hills. One of the great Dusi traditions, if you're looking for a good race, you need to give flowers to Sheila Pearce, the widow of the great Ernie Pearce. MEC for Sport and Recreation in KZN, a passionate supporter of the Dusi, eager to meet the top paddlers.
Oh, we're really excited for today. We know that it's going to be a tough day of racing. There are 3 really strong crews, and we're excited to get underway for this year's Dusi, and we want to give it our all and give it our best shot.
Day one, ready for the gun, and right in the city of Pietermaritzburg, 3 weirs, starting with the Ernie Pearce weir, the Witness weir, and then the Rapid, the broken down Mussens weir. And as you head into the outskirts of the city, Taxi Rapid, one of the newly formed ones, before the first of the 2 long portages, Guinea Fowl the second. Then the maze leading you into mission, and then the chase into the finish at Dusi Bridge. The Carbineers cannon fires, and A-Batch, all the seeded paddlers, the potential title contenders, are set off across the 800 meters of flat water of Kampsdrift, and so much to be gained by being first to the narrow chute down the Ernie Pearce weir, because you then have first rights to the narrow Dusi River immediately below that. The paddlers approaching Ernie Pearce, not a particularly difficult risk here, but if you get it wrong, the consequences can be dire, and I'm sure you're going to see later in the day eager paddlers making mistakes here and certainly suffering the consequences. And it's Hank McGregor and Jasper Mocker, world marathon champ and one of the world's greatest surf ski paddlers together, who are leading. And look at the congestion. A-Batch, there's no gentlemanly contact here. They go down 2, 3, even 4 abreast. And this is where the barging and the bumping happens, and things can get intense. It's a great early morning rush. Look at the expression on the faces. Get this right and it sets the tone for the day one of your Dusi. But get it wrong and look what can happen. It's early morning carnage at the foot of Ernie Pearce weir. The paddlers wind their way down through Alexandra Park towards the next obstacle. It's the Witness weir, located immediately below Commercial Road in Pietermaritzburg. Another relatively simple weir, but it's the rapid below that causes all the trouble. And up front, it's still Hank McGregor and Jasper Mocker who are calling all the shots, but Andy Burkett and Spornello Zondi are right on their tail. No slacking in the pace as they go down the chute, and Andy Burkett and Spornello Zondi taking the chancy line down the left there, bumping over the rock as they head into the rapid. And Cam Skuman and Jakub Adam from the Czech Republic are now sitting pretty in third. Cam bumping a few rocks as he goes down, and the rest of A-Batch sticking to them like Velcro. Oh, and all sorts of bumping and barging going on in A-Batch. Paddlers being spun out here, and there's drama because one of the key contenders, Lance Kime and Tulani Mbanjwa, have been pinged in the middle of the rapid. A rudder blade has sliced open their boat and it's sinking, going down like a submarine. This, I'm afraid, is the end of the road for Lance Kime, last year's K1 winner, and Tulani Mbanjwa. The leading women now getting the chance to meet the MEC as the women head on to the start line. A smaller batch. This is the select few that have been deemed qualified enough to be title contenders, particularly across the under-23 and under-18s as well. And there are 4 boats gathered together as they head down to the Ernie Pearce weir. And it's the crew of Anna Adamova and her partner Abby Ady who are first down the chute. They make it easy now. Robin Kime, she normally swims here. Oh, if she swims, she wins. That's her habit. Now she's failed to swim. How will this affect her overall race plan? The race now winds its way out of the city of Pietermaritzburg, and the women find their way down to the Witness weir. And it's Abby Ady and Anna Adamova first down the chute. They make light work of it, hardly dropping any boat speed, and they slice through the rapid below. Now back to the men's race and the first of the long portages. It's 4.5 kilometers up to the Campbell's farm, and the leading contenders have gone for the long Campbell's takeout as they slog up through the cane field to the top of the farmlands, and then head down to Bishopstowe Hall. This is roughly 20% through the day, and here they go. They've rehearsed this so carefully. Andy Burkett and Sbonelo Zondi are starting to put down the hammer, and they've taken Hank McGregor and Jasper Mocker, and in a matter of minutes they started to open out a lead. These two run brilliantly. Andy Burkett, a slip from Andy Burkett, that could have been trouble for him. A wry grin from him along the way. One thing Andy Burkett does is have a lot of fun. He's looking over his shoulder as they get to the Campbell's Farm put-in, and already he can see that they have put air between themselves and Hank McGregor and Jasper Mocker in second. And fantastic result. Cam Schoeman and Jacob Adam now solidly in third. And here's another terrific result, because in sixth place early on are the juniors, Damon Stamp and Ntobisi Kele. If they can hang on, their dream of a gold medal in the top 10 are certainly looking alive and kicking. Some great water as the paddlers wind down from the Campbell's Portage to Guinea Fowl, the second, also 4.5 kilometers long. This portage actually crests two hills and drops into the ominously named Devil's Cauldron in between. Andy Burkett and Sbonelo Zondi, this is one of the places where they had targeted an attack, and they're pushing hard as they go up the hill, and you can see that they are putting decent time between themselves and McGregor and Mocker.
Getting pushed by my partner. All the powers in the back.
Real laid-back surf ski lifestyle that Hank McGregor and Jasper Mocker are bringing to the Dusi, but they're keeping the pressure on the two front runners who have used this opportunity to break away. Andy Burkett, who's elected not to cut his hair. Normally he shaves it down to a number one, but now the locks are flying as he and Sbonelo Zondi streak away and are starting to put a significant amount of time between themselves and these two, Hank McGregor and Jasper Mocker. Let's go back to the ladies' race right now, and Abby Adi and Anna Adamova are using this early opportunity to try and get a bit of a break, and you can see there's been a slip and a fall for Abby Ulansky at the back. Robin Kime waiting patiently, and these two get back on their way. Remember, they're the defending champs. They won the last two K2 women's races, and heaps of experience and composure in this boat. And Tamika and Bianca Hoare solidly in third. Now, here's a surprise result in the making. Back on the river now, and Andy Burkett and Sbonelo Zondi are using the opportunity on the water to try and extend their lead. Andy Burkett, now the under-23 world marathon champion, and these two have been training hard, trying to use their opportunities on the water as much as their opportunities on the portages. And it's certainly looking like they're able to make that count. All eyes are now on the watchers as they head into the crowds and the spectators and seconds that gather at Mission Rapid. This is less than an hour to go to the finish, but the river by this stage was starting to get slightly shallower as the paddlers were overtaking the water release. Andy Burkett and Sbonelo Zondi absolutely on line A going through Mission Rapid. Just behind them, Hank McGregor and Jasper Mocker, also looking neat and elegant. Cautious here, you don't want to get caught in the rocks at the bottom. They get through safely and cleanly as well. Here comes Cam Schoeman, bumping a couple of rocks. This could have gone pear-shaped. Doesn't have a great record in this rapid, but he does manage to get away this time without too many consequences. Cam Schoeman bouncing back from a shoulder injury, and good to see him so competitive in the race. Andy Burkett and Sbonelo Zondi powering away on the river. Dusi enjoying the full release from Henley Dam, which makes this first day so comfortable, but the temperature by this stage starting to soar. It was going to be a blistering day in the Valley of 1,000 Hills. They put in at the end of the portage, and now it's time to head down towards Maze and Mission Rapids here, sections that these two have tripped well, but by this stage the stopwatch was starting to show that an alarmingly large gap, Hank McGregor goes down for a slip, an alarmingly large gap was starting to emerge between the top two boats. Opportunity to run and enjoy the support of the locals. There's a fantastic vibe and a camaraderie and a hospitality that exists at this stage in the valley, but we're heading down to the finish now. It's been a peerless day for Andy Burkett and Sbonelo Zondi. They know they're going to claim the shield for the victors at the end of the first stage, but now they have to turn around and start watching those stopwatches. Just how much of a lead have they got? Here come Hank McGregor and Jasper Mocker. This is big. It's over 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes 33, and Hank is not entirely pleased.
It was a really nice race for us. We managed to open up a bigger gap than we thought we would. It was a really controlled race for us, and kind of just stuck to our game plan and try to make no mistakes and have a controlled race, because you can't go too hard at the start. It's a really tough day of racing. Bad luck to Lance and Bungie for damaging their boat at Mussins. But we're really happy with our race today. It went well. I think the boat's intact, bodies are still feeling good, and 2 more hard days of racing to come.
Now back to the women's race. Robin Kime and Abby Ulansky running the portage hard over Finger Neck on the tar road. But look at that, right behind them, there's been a great charge by Abby Adi and Anna Adamova. They have narrowed that gap to just a couple of seconds. We have a real race in the women's category. Anna Adamova from the Czech Republic, having to train through the winter and then make use of her time in South Africa to catch up with the heat and humidity and the unique demands of portaging and paddling. Robin Keim and Abby Ulansky desperate to get going as quickly as possible. They have to use their experience on the river wherever possible. Here come Abby Adi and Anna Adamova is limping. If you have a look at her knee, you'll see there's a gash. She's taken a fall on this portage and she's got a gash in her knee. She's clearly trying to grit her teeth and not let her partner down, but a hurting Anna Adamova is going to head down to the finish as best she can. Here we go down to the finish, and it's going to be Robin Keim and Abby Ulansky, the defending champions, who are going to claim it. Big smiles on their face. They've clearly enjoyed their day. It's gone almost flawlessly for them. And there's about 30 seconds, just over 30 seconds back to Abby Adi and Anna Adamova.
It was hard. Anna and Abby paddled and ran superbly well, so they made our day a lot more challenging. We had a good day, not a fantastic day, but a good day, and just great to be squeaked in a little bit ahead of them.
So here are the numbers that matter, and everybody thinking ahead to the 46 kilometer second stage, which sounds like it's going to be run on a medium to low river. 5 minutes 33. Can McGregor and Mocker reel that in? It's going to be fascinating. And the juniors in sixth place, can they hang on to that fantastic result? The women, just 30 seconds in it right now. The Horse siblings in third, with Jen Turon and Jane Swarbeck hanging on to fourth. Look at that, 10th juniors, a great result for them. It's going to be a big day on the river tomorrow. The Dusi 2014 is proudly brought to you by the KZN Department of Sport and Recreation, Isotonic Game, and Hansa.